Hey kids, welcome back to Fort Carson Kids Time. I'm Chaplain Jonathan Court, and this is my wife, Alyssa. Today, we're going to be talking about the story of how Jesus calmed the storm, and also how Jesus can help us when we're afraid. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to sing the song, He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. 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 He's got the itty bitty baby in His hands. He's got the itty bitty babies in His hands. He's got the itty bitty babies in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. He's got you and me, brother, in His hands. He's got you and me, brother, in His hands. He's got you and me, brother, in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. He's got you and me, sister, in His hands. He's got you and me, sister, in His hands. He's got you and me, sister, in His hands. He's got the whole world 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 in His hands. Great singing, kids.
We're going to start out with the verse this time, and it's going to be found in the book of Matthew, the first book in the New Testament. And it's going to go like this, and we've got some hand motions because this is a little bit of a long one. It's Matthew 8:26. He replied, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. And this was referring to Jesus. So when you hear the he, it's talking about Jesus. Okay, let's do it again. Matthew 8:26. He replied, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the waves and the wind, and it was completely calm. Okay, let's do it again.
Yeah, that was kind of a long, hard one.
Matthew 8:26. He replied, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. Let's do it one more time. Matthew 8:26. He replied, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. And that is part of the story that we are going to learn about today. One day, Jesus and his disciples had been out with the crowd for the entire day. Jesus had been preaching, he'd been performing miracles, healing the sick, and doing all kinds of things for the people. And so he told his disciples that they were going to get into a boat, and they were going to go to the other side of the sea. The disciples and Jesus got in the boat, and Jesus decided to go down and sleep at the bottom of the boat. Well, while Jesus was sleeping, a big storm came, and it had to be a really big storm because the disciples were fishermen. A lot of them were fishermen and knew how to manage a boat. But this one was so big that they couldn't even handle what was going on. The winds must have been howling. The waves must have been crashing into the boat. They must have been trying to row so hard, trying to get to the other side. Maybe there was a whole bunch of rain, a whole bunch of thunder and lightning, and it was just miserable. They got so afraid, and they thought they were going to drown. And they were trying hard on their own, trying to get rid of the water, trying to row to shore. It just wasn't working. And so they finally were wondering, what in the world is Jesus doing? Do you know what Jesus was doing? Do you remember what I told you? He was sleeping through a terrible storm. I know that my kids and I wake up when there's a terrible storm, but not Jesus. He was still sleeping in the boat. So the disciples go over and ask Jesus, Jesus, don't you care about us? Come help us. They probably wanted him to come and help row or come and help get water out of the boat for them. And they said, don't you know we're going to drown? And Jesus, all he says is exactly what the verse that we memorized today. He says, where's your faith? Why are you so afraid? He knew that he could certainly solve this problem. The disciples just that day had seen him do wonderful things and powerful things. They just had to ask Jesus to help them out. So Jesus gets right up. He stands up and he says, peace, be still. And just like that, with those words, everything changed. The wind stopped howling. The rain stopped right away. The clouds probably opened up to show some sunshine. And the most important thing was the waves. They didn't just go slow, 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 stop. Nope, they went from crash to completely still and calm. And then the disciples saw that they didn't have to be afraid because they had Jesus with them. And you know what? We have Jesus here too. And anytime that you're afraid, all you need to do is talk to him, pray to him, and tell him what you're afraid of and ask him to help you be calm. And he will give you peace. Just like he said, peace be still to the storm the disciples had, he can say, peace be still for your heart so that you cannot be afraid. So you can remember that in with this story.
All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to look at the Bible now and read it from here. Thank you so much, Alyssa. It's a great story. So here's pictures. You see Jesus and his disciples, they were crossing the lake. And suddenly, a storm came. The boat was about to sink. And what was Jesus doing? He was asleep at the bottom of the boat. We're about to drown. Help us! Why are you so afraid? Jesus calmed the storm. And just like Alyssa said, even the wind and the waves listened to Jesus. And the storm went away. Look how calm that is. I've got a few questions for you kids. What bad things happened when the disciples were in the boat? What bad thing happened while the disciples were in the boat? Yeah, a big storm came. They got very afraid. What was Jesus doing during the storm? Yeah, he was sleeping at the bottom of the boat. What did Jesus do for the disciples when he woke up? What did Jesus do when the disciples woke him up? That's right. He calmed the storm. He made all the wind and the waves settle down. What are some things that you're afraid of? Yeah, those are probably some pretty scary things. And what can you do when you're afraid? What can you do when you're afraid? You can pray to God because he helps us not be afraid. And you can also talk to your parents.
Okay, now we're going to be doing a picture of the story. So you're going to need a piece of paper, a piece of construction paper, It can be whatever color you want, or you can color a white piece of paper. You need scissors, glue or tape, either one, and then some crayons. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your construction paper and you are going to draw 3 different shapes. Now this takes a little bit of following directions, so make sure you're paying attention. You can pause if you need to. So you need to draw a triangle, a long skinny rectangle, and a half circle, which is like a big smiley face with a line. And Jonathan's going to show you what we did. Something like that. So those 3 shapes. After you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and cut them out. And they're going to look like this. Then you're going to take your white piece of paper and you're going to glue or tape them on in a form of a boat. So see if you can put the puzzle pieces together to form a boat. Then after you're done doing that, it should look like this. Around that way. Your boat can look a little different. Now around your boat, you're going to draw a big storm. So you can draw some black clouds, you can draw some lightning, you can draw big waves, you can draw raindrops coming down from the sky. Anything to show the storm. Like that. Now, on those things, the storm parts, you're going to write something that you're afraid of. You can write something on the clouds, then write something else on the waves, and something else on the thunder or lightning, something in the rain, something that you're afraid of. So Jonathan wrote storms in the clouds and lions in the rain. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a Jesus standing up in the boat. See, like that. Now, here's the cool part. So you have all these storms, this big storm, and you have all the things that you're afraid of written down. What you're going to do is you're going to take a big, whatever color you want, and you're going to just cross those out because Jesus said, peace be still to the storm, just like he said, peace be still to our problems when we're asking him to help us when we're scared. So you're going to cross everything out, and Jesus has calmed them.
All right, thank you so much, kids, for joining us for this episode of Fort Carson Kids Time. We look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.